Okay, we're live, you guys.
Yay!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live show for Here With Me by Brooke Montgomery. I'm really excited to hear everybody's thoughts. And we also are going to be having an announcement from Bestie Book Reviews that's going to be really exciting. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But this book, we kind of had a hard time figuring out which book we were going to pick, went back and forth. My fault. But I'm really glad we read this one. And I can't wait. I guess just let's go around, get everybody's ratings. Jen, what did you think? What was your rating?
I really liked it. I ended up giving it a 4. I was back and forth between a 4 and a 4.5, but I'm gonna just give it a solid 4. I really enjoyed it. It surprised me how much I enjoyed it. Yeah.
What about you, Mandy?
I have it right here.
Oh,
I also rated it a 4. I
Oh.
think to be a 5, I would have had to have felt like a little more of the taboo angstiness of it. Yeah, and we can talk more about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave it a solid 4 as well. I was debating between a 4, 4.5. But when I really sat and thought about it, I finished it last night. I was like, yeah, I kind of agree with Mandy. I needed tiny.
Yeah.
It was good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, like I was going between like 4.5. I couldn't figure out where I want to set on because I wanted to give it a 5-star, but it was missing that like angst. Like if it would but I didn't mind it. Like it was still like I couldn't find anything wrong with it. I enjoyed the whole thing. It did take me a little bit longer to get into, and I think it's because of the like missing angst or build up to them getting together. So I think I was going to settle kind of on a 4.5 because honestly, I still like really enjoyed it. So, where is this? There we go.
Yeah, I think she's I've read a few things from her, but she has a couple different pseudonyms.
Yeah, because I think the other one she had was when she was writing as like a duo, like, and so now this is like, so I thought this was really good. I loved the setting. And I love horses. So like, I love the heroine and I thought she was a really strong heroine. I loved the hero. So I love the whole ranch aspect too. So, and I thought his job was really interesting and cool. And so I really loved that whole setting. I just think like when you think ex-boyfriend's dad, you want a little bit of like a buildup. And I think that's what might've been kind of missing for it. But I honestly couldn't complain about anything. I still really enjoyed it. It was super sweet, like comfort kind of read.
Yeah. It was definitely a palate cleanser type book, but it was good. And I listened to it. I listened to the audio, and I was doing it while I was doing other things. And normally when that happens, like I was really into what I was working on, and normally I lose the book right when I get going, which is why I tend to do that. But there were times I'd have to stop what I was doing and listen because it interested me so much what was happening.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like I lost anything doing that this time around because it was interesting. There were parts that stood out, but I agree. I needed some more angst. I needed to feel, it didn't feel taboo. And I did like his job. I have a friend that's a farrier, so this was kind of fun. She's one of the only female farriers.
Cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for joining in, Joanna, even if you didn't read it. you should give it a try. It's a good small town. I definitely get it. I think that's part of my problem too, is I don't read tons of small town sweet. I read a lot of dark stuff. So for it to like keep my attention, I'm usually into like either it's super taboo, super dark, mafia, like that can suck me in. So I feel like it's not the book's fault. It might be just my taste sometimes.
Yeah.
It'll be like harder to draw me in.
And I read a really crazy dark book before this one, which we'll talk about this week. And so I kind of needed this. This was good.
Yeah.
I needed this one. So yeah.
You're right. It's a good palate cleanser kind of thing.
Yeah. Is that what you said, Jen? What did you say?
I was saying it was a welcome palate cleanser for you since you read.
It was.
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck is this? So yeah. Yeah. So.
I don't know if you guys read it, but I did read the prequel. I don't think you have to read it all because the couple in that is barely in this. They're like barely mentioned. They're not in it, but I think it's like a fun, sweet very short novella that's like a good intro to the series. And it's kind of like a second chance, surprise baby kind of thing, which I'm not always a fan of surprise baby, but I actually was okay with it in this one.
Mhm.
So I think if you guys haven't read it, it's a really quick, you guys can go back and read that one too.
I'm
Mhm.
curious about Trip and what's her face's book.
That's what.
I don't
Yeah.
think I missed
Yes.
anything from not reading the prequel.
Yeah.
Oh,
She
yeah.
did a really
I didn't
good
either.
job. I liked how she brought in the outside stuff too. It wasn't just always
Mhm.
so we got like a reprieve with like the other stuff that was going on, other characters. I liked how she
Mhm.
brought in the equestrian a little bit more.
Mhm.
All that
I
the rodeo, and all that.
Yeah.
I read the prequel and it was okay. I mean, she started it off to be a novella and then she said it turned into a short novel because it's over 200 pages long.
Yeah.
But it really goes into a lot of the dynamics of the people in the ranch. But when you get to the first book, those two characters are hardly mentioned at all.
Yeah.
But it sets up you really understanding how the ranch works and who all lives there and their relationships, which in a little what took away from the couple's story in that first book
Mhm.
because it focuses so much more on the ranch, I thought. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very excited for the next book. And I have the physical book, but I read it on my Kindle
Mhm.
and it looked like you could just go ahead and go into the second
Yeah.
book. So I went to grab it and I was disappointed to see it's not going to be out until January 24th.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm trying to
really?
sign up for the arc on that because if you follow her, she's like posting stuff about that. So I want to get like the arc for it, but I'm not sure, if I'll get it because she's kind of blowing up with this series on Instagram right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that novella, like honestly kind of ruined a little bit of like the surprise of like her getting hurt because at the end of that novella, like where she ends up in the hospital and everything, and he has to take her. That happens at the end of like the novella where they're having the baby and stuff. And so and then you see that the father, that her ex-boyfriend's father and her have like kind of a connection. So that like helped lead into this one. But I already was like waiting, like, okay, well, when are we going to get to the part where she gets hurt and goes to like the hospital? So I already kind of knew that was coming, but it didn't ruin it or anything. It just kept you anticipating like when that was going to happen. But
Okay. Yeah.
and what do you guys think about the ex-boyfriend? I thought he was kind of like an idiot douche, but I thought it was good, like, because they didn't make him full villain. Because even though he was really effed up with how he talked to her, I love how her brothers like beat his ass. And then, but then he also has his own drama of like feeling abandoned by his father and all these kind of deeper things going on. So I kind of liked that where like he wasn't fully villainized, where he kind of tries to redeem himself and, apologize and everything. But I don't know, he's kind of an idiot.
Yeah,
He was a douche. I mean, I was like really surprised when he did that whole thing with her.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just like a 180 from where he was.
Yeah. From
What?
like, oh, we're just friends kind
Yeah.
of to like, oh, you're a horror kind of thing. Like, who are you talking to?
Yeah, I was like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
It was kind of explained though later when he's
Mhm.
talking. He
Yeah.
explains that he thought
Yeah.
that they were going to get back together and he was trying to buy this house so he could show her that he could provide. So in the moment, you're kind of like, where's this coming from? But then later you kind of understand like, okay, well, he was legitimately hurt because he thought they were going to be moving back, towards being a couple again. He's trying to buy a
Mhm.
house for her in a sense. And then he hears she's like making out with some random guy in her truck in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Like it did kind of make sense as to why he'd be acting out. And he also, I mean, he had a lot of issues with his dad because of
Yeah.
the way his parents handled everything. And he had no idea that his dad was gone for 2 years because he was in like a rehab situation, which I
Yeah.
think was kind of crappy on his mom's part not to.
Yeah, I hated the mom. I was like,
Yeah.
you basically lied to your child and made the father, it wasn't his fault. Like the whole thing was like a freak accident, and to like put the blame on the father, and then where the father was like, had those, self-harm kind of issues and what he tried to do. Like I didn't like her. I was like,
Well, and I don't understand why. I can't remember how old they said he was at that time, but why would you keep your dad being the dad being in rehab a secret?
Yeah.
Why? What's the purpose in that? And I know it was for different, but like I remember my dad went through rehab when I was like 7, and I remember it. We went and visited there. So why would you keep that a secret?
Well, it wasn't just like a rehab kind of thing. It was like because he tried to hurt himself.
I know,
but like therapy.
I'm sure that it would have helped him to have like his kid come visit. Why is that a secret? Like if he needs help, the family should know, so that the but
well,
and so they did it to protect the kid. Yeah. They did it to like protect the kid, but it did the kid harm. Like he made him feel like his dad didn't care about him, like that once they lost the daughter, he didn't care about him enough, so he just left. So that's why it kind of like made me feel bad for this kid, because he has long-term issues because of that. But I did like how they brought up how they were going to like therapy together, because I love it in books when they like actively like promote like therapy, not just like, so I liked that they were going to go to therapy together and kind of work on their relationship. So, he did forgive them pretty quickly, like, Megan was saying, but I guess I just wanted them to be together. So I was like, okay.
I think those are the small parts too, where we lose some of that angst. So that could have been built up a little bit more.
Like him find out sooner and then like have that whole thing kind of happen.
Yeah. I honestly had like a minute of freak out when we were towards the end and the fire happened and they found the body. Which I know she had it that way. I was like, there's not too much left in this book. How's that gonna work?
I totally forgot about that other guy, and I was like, oh God, because I didn't, even though he was a douchebag, he was healing, and everything came to light with the dad. Like I feel like if you would have been able to understand what your dad was going through, that also would have helped the dad to understand that like it was a horrible accident. Yes, you lost a kid on your watch, but like how dare anybody ever, I mean, poor parents are going through enough, and then to sit there and blame your spouse and then tell your son basically like it's your father's fault.
Yeah.
You think that he's up in flames and died, and the dad was right there and could have saved him, but he's saving horses instead. I'm like, that's going to kill him. He's not going to be able to get.
He's not going to live now.
The relationship's not going to move forward, because if that is going to be a disaster again, and then we're going to start all over. And I'm like, this book is ending. There's not enough time for him to do it.
I was like, no.
I felt like it was Ian the whole time. The minute they're like, there was
I
body,
did.
I'm like, I bet you it's gonna be.
It's Ian. That other douche. Because I was like, they're not gonna. But then when he was like missing, this is where I got way off track. Where he was like fishing with a buddy, but he's not into fishing. I was like, oh, is he gay? Like, is that like his boyfriend? And I was like, yes. Then we'll get like a male out of the series or something.
Did you?
And it wasn't that at all. I was like, oh, okay, because that was wishful thinking.
That's exactly what I thought. As soon as they're like, but he doesn't like fishing. I was
I thought
he's off on a secret rendezvous and doesn't want them to know, and that's why he was pushing so hard for those two to get back together, because that was going to be like his cover, because he seemed very concerned about his appearance.
I was thinking the same thing as you, Mandy.
And I thought it was with a girl. I thought he was out at like a fishing camp with a girl, because we went to the movie theater yesterday and watched the new Hunger Games. My husband's company sent everybody to the movies. So that's what, like, they'd had a cabin at the lake there. So that was in my head. And I'm finishing the book last night, and I was like, oh, he's with a girl. No, he's with a girl. No.
I was like, she was his beard. Like, and that's why he's pushing them to be together. And he's so worried about having the perfect, like, oh, I got to have a woman and a house and be set in my life. And so that's what I thought. But, and I was like, oh, and that's why he'll forgive them, because he's like in love with his friend, like, so.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, until we got to the end and it was like he was with somebody named Amelia, and I'm like, oh, well, there goes that.
Oh, okay, I was wrong.
Yeah. The snake creeped me out though. I just because when I'm picturing it, I'm not picturing an open arena. I'm picturing like a enclosed one, because that's what we would have here, is an enclosed arena.
Oh.
And so that's just where my brain went, and I'm like, where did it come from? How did it get in there? Somebody should be what do you mean you're going to look for more? oh my gosh, what the heck? Like that was where my brain was going. How did it get in there?
How does that guy always get away so fast? I'm like, can you jump on a horse and catch him? Like, can we get him?
I know, because if you look at the ranch map, it does not look like it's that easy to sneak in and out like he kept doing.
And
they put up more cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do you, I mean, you have proof now. Go get him. And you were quick to like beat up the boyfriend and you were like right there. So these brothers can't. And then he's more worried about that. And then Bishop's getting all mad that his woman's got hurt. And I was like, yeah.
I did think it had a little tiny bit of angst finally when like he was like ending things with her, but it didn't really last that long. Yeah. And then he was like still like staying with her. And I thought there was good caretaking and all that kind of stuff I really liked. He was just such a good guy. Like, you know, I really liked his character. You know, I usually read Morley Gray messed up guys, so it's kind of nice to get a cinnamon roll like sweet guy once in a while.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am all about the guy that clubs the girl and takes her away and is like, you're mine now. So these ones are really hard, but I did it was cute. It was great. Every once in a while I need the sweet, I'll actually
yeah I really enjoyed it way more than, I mean, all I knew was small town, but I just enjoyed it way more. I was just very invested from the start, which is really
like, I like the brothers. I think that's setting up a really good series where you're going to like get each of these characters.
The
the next book sounds good.
Yeah, the grandma.
She was a hoot.
I know. And then at the very end where she's like, I wonder what kind of the baby shower you're going to get. And they kind of left us hanging. Like, what are they talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the grandma was a hoot and a half. She always knew.
Grandma's
always know.
Yeah.
Her love story. I liked her, like, that she had her own little inappropriate taboo age gap. The preacher.
Yeah, the preacher was like, go ahead, grandma.
I like the whole scrapbooking thing too. I was like, that's really cute. Like, I think that was kind of like it just felt so like sweet hometown vibes. And I thought that was really cute. And that he wanted to do that with her when her ex would like never be there.
Yeah.
His son.
Yeah.
Megan, what are you hoping will be the next?
Probably the baby.
Oh, wait, hold on. Maybe the next comment. She says Chestnut Springs. Were you hoping the next Buddy read? Because we've all read that. Oh, unfortunately. We were gonna do Elsie Silver's first book.
Yeah.
Which was that Off to the Races? I always forget.
Yeah.
We were gonna do that, but I thought like, you know, we could try reading like I haven't read this author where she's done anything on her own. I've read a bunch of Elsie Silver already. So I was like, maybe that'll be better. But we could always go back to that another time when we go back to small town.
Yeah. And this definitely had Elsie Silver vibes. I like it had the same small town ranch rodeo vibes.
Mm-hmm. It did. I thought it was more focused on the ranch and stuff, which I liked. Like there was like, you know, because that's their whole, it's such a hard job, a hard life. Like, except for like Cade, like you don't really get as much of that in the Elsie Silver because Cade's the best and like the hard worker. But I really love horses too. So I was really into this. Like I loved her. Like she was such a badass heroine for like being able to be that successful at like 22, you know?
It was amazing. I like that there was a really good balance between the two. Like we got the ranch stuff that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Like
I see what she's saying. She wants it to be good like Elsie Silver's Chestnut Springs series.
This will be the next series.
And hopefully this will blow her up, you know?
Yeah, I think it definitely has the potential to be. So
because that was big this year. Like the small town, like that kind of vibes was so big this year. I felt like it was a lot of like sports and like small town.
Hockey and small town. The hockey and small town were the big ones this year. We'll see what happens next year.
Yeah.
But you could see the writing on the wall because when we went to, in the spring, when we went to Love in Seattle, you know, Elsie Silver was there and that hype had been started, right? And then right after that, all the hockey stuff really started to come in. Was right after. So, I mean, I'm curious to see what the next big jump in romance is going to be.
As long as you stop with the cartoon covers,
oh my gosh, yes.
I can't take it anymore.
Done.
I can't take it. I don't know.
Mhm.
What are you guys
Yeah.
reading right now?
I'm reading Bren by BJ Alpha. It's her 4th book in her Mafia series. Big breeding kink throughout all the books, but this one's the thickest. This one's got these boys, they just want their girls pregnant. And
They want to fill them up.
Yep, exactly. But it's they're Irish mafia. It's great. Fill 'em up. Yeah, so the first book in that series was her very first one, which is Cal, and you can tell. And she started writing 2 years ago, so you could kind of tell that was her first book. The writing was still good. There was just some things that were needed improving on, and then her second book was like, okay, we're getting better. And then I just read her 3rd book in that series a couple days ago, and I was like, okay, now you can really see. And so
that's good.
Yeah,
that's kind of I was worried about reading that first Elsie Silver, because I'm like, that was like her first book. It might not be as like good as like what we're used to her books now. Right. But you know, because people, but I think people still rate it pretty well. You know, it's just obviously she's improved with each book.
Yeah. What's everybody else reading?
What are you reading, Mandy?
I'm reading The Pucking Wrong Guy by C.R. Jane.
Wait, is that the one where is that the one where he calls the wrong number, or texts the wrong number,
That's
or is that a different
book?
That's the first one.
That's the one I need to read this month.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that one, Mandy, my box showed up yesterday. Remember, she didn't have them there, and they said they'd mail us the boxes for The Pucking Wrong Guy number. It came yesterday with my book.
Oh.
There were several people in a couple of different authors that we ran into in Vegas where their books didn't show up. Like they'd ordered, the big order from Amazon to be there, and they hadn't.
That would suck.
Oh yeah.
So we're still waiting on one more from S.J. Tully.
I'm waiting on one from S. Massery.
S. Massery. That me too. Yeah, I'm still waiting on one from S. Massery.
Jen, what are you reading?
I just finished The Stars Are on Our Side, and I'm listening to Nightfall, but I want something else to read physically. So, like, all right.
Who wrote The Stars Are on Our Side?
Yeah,
Jennifer Hartman.
Oh, okay.
It's Tabitha and Gabe's story. She was like the only one that the matchmaker let go.
Oh, I think I have
ones in that, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna read it.
I've only read like the first book that, I still need to continue those.
Well, I read
that
duet that she had that just came out earlier this year. I read that, The Pessimist Guy, whatever that was.
Yeah, that one.
I wasn't
impressed.
No, I didn't like it as much as other people did. The first one was better than the second one, I think. This one puts you right back into like Still Beating and Lotus. I mean, the characters are very heavy in it, so you definitely need to have read those. And it was good. I enjoyed it. It wasn't Cora and Dean, but I really
I think that's why I was worried like they weren't gonna compare. Like I was like, ooh, are they gonna not be as good as?
Well, I mean, it's like back down in the basement with them again. So a completely different couple, and you already know how that turns out. But she's dating somebody else. She has a baby by the guy that So you already know that because you knew that from Still Beating and Lotus. So, yeah, it was good. And then I'm simultaneously listening to Nightfall, but I had
that on my TBR too this month. But
I'm like in a snag right now. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of bored with what's happening right now. So I just need to give me something else to read.
Yeah. What about you, Amber?
I am reading Filthy Hot. I think that's the one, or Filthy Sex.
Filthy something.
It's Serena Ackroyd's. I've been slow. Let me check my thing real quick because I'm slowly trying to go through, and it's Filthy Hot. So I'm trying to go through her reading order, like of doing the Filthy Feckers and the MC, and I've slowly been doing her like reading order. It's so long. But
in this one?
It says Aiden Jr.
Okay.
So he was the one, he's addicted to drugs, and it's like the reporter and stuff. I'm really liking it. She always has these thicker books too, where it's like 500 something pages. So it's like, I'm still reading it, but it's like, it sucks you in. It's like easy to read. And then I'm listening to An Offer from a Gentleman by Julia Quinn, because I'm finally trying to read Bridgerton's.
That's the second one, right?
Oh.
Third one. I'm
Third
liking
one,
this
okay.
one already better. I gave the first one like 2 stars.
Wow.
I'd seen the series, so I refused to read the first one. 'Cause I'm like, it's just gonna mess me up. I read the second one, and I haven't read further because it's hard for me to get into historical. Just really hard.
Yeah, I just don't get the hype. Like I'm it's just me, but I'm like, why don't we have a Lisa Kleypas like Wallflowers? I love Lisa Kleypas. So I'm like, she has like way better series than this, but I think it's gonna get better. Obviously, like I gave the second one like 4 stars, and then this one I'm really loving. So I'm hoping like it's like, it's getting better with each book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have you guys read Becoming Calder by Mia Sheridan? I don't think I've read a Mia Sheridan.
Sure you have.
Archer's Voice.
Archer's
Everybody's read
Voice.
that.
I've never read Archer's Voice because it's so high.
Heck,
So do I need to add that to my TBR next month or
if
something?
we're gonna be friends, you need to read that book.
Okay. I'll add it.
I like Mia Sheridan. I've read several of hers. I want to read the new one that just came out. It was supposed to be it's on my TBR for this month. I haven't read it yet. It's something Rain or Raindrops or something.
Yeah.
Savage, I read by her. I really liked that one because it was like a guy who was like wilderness guy, like lives out in the wilderness. They think he killed a bunch of people, and he.
Oh, you love the wilderness stuff.
I do, but it's so good. It's so good. So
I've heard of the Becoming Calder. I haven't read it yet, but I just added it to my list here. So thank you, Megan.
Oh, and Megan also just finished Saving Six, which I'm going to be reading probably like this week. And I lost it during binding and Keeping 13. Like Keeping 13, I've never cried so hard in a book in my life. And it was so ridiculous because I was listening to the audiobook too. And they do such a good job with like the accents. And I was cooking and I started bawling hysterically where like I had snot and I was like, I got to like step away. And it's all because of Joey. Like Joey breaks my heart. So I'm like so scared to read his book because his books.
So side note, we're not eating at Amber's house tonight. So
I put off reading Saving Six and Redeeming Six because I didn't want to relive all of the stuff that happened in those first 2 books with Joey.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, it does not feel like you're reliving that. It's a lot of the trauma that happens in that family happens in those first 2 books. And you just kind of know what's happening, but it's not on page as much.
Yeah.
It's really focusing on all of what's happened to Joey and why he is the way he is. But, oh my gosh.
I'm nervous.
Because I'm going to start crying just thinking about both of these. All these.
Yes.
I don't know.
It's gonna hit me. If it hit me in those books and he's like the side character in it, like his character meant, I can't believe how good Chloe Walsh is at storytelling. And this is like my thing is that I've been kind of annoyed with the over the top smut in books where it's like, there's no character development. And it's just sex every chapter where like, I don't care about their sex and I'm skimming it because it's all sex. And there's no spice in these books. And it shows you don't need spice to have a beautiful story. It's like when they have sex, finally, it's not like, over the top on page, but it's like beautiful and like means so much more.
It's almost like you got that release. You're like, oh my God, thank you.
Like when they only kissed, like they barely kissed. And like the first one, I was like, what the hell? Like 600 pages.
But it didn't bother me at all.
No.
I think though, I mean, it just shows what an excellent writer she is because I was captivated in those books. And like you have all of these emotions. And then I was dying laughing when Johnny was in the hospital and he's talking about marrying Shannon.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was so hilarious.
He just let out all his feelings finally.
Flip the script on you and you're like crying hysterically for these
He's like,
characters.
boom da boom, Dad, boom da boom.
Yes.
And his parents are just like, oh my God. Like, that's what I mean. Like, every character is so well written that you care about everybody. Like, I love Gipsy. Like, I can't wait for his book. And I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't have to suffer like all these people that have been waiting years for like Gipsy's books. But there's so much more to him being like the funny guy because he brings like the comedy so much in those books. But then you see so much more to him. And I love
scene that, I mean, like how.
Oh, like the river where he falls, like she pushes him in and stuff. And I love how she like totally went off on that chick, you know, and defended her man, even though he's not her man.
That's her man.
I can't. Oh my God. It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the one about Mia Sheridan. Archer is one of my favorites of all time. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
It's definitely on my list.
And I'm all about cult ones, so I need to read that.
Yeah.
Wilderness cults.
Is there any? It might go with the surprise for next month. Maybe.
Oh yeah, maybe you guys should bring up that surprise announcement right
I
now
want
or
to talk
whatever.
about that because
Yeah,
that's
right
what I
now.
was doing while we were waiting. I'm trying
Go
to
for it.
map
Yeah.
out my.
Or Meg. Meg. I see Megan's name. Mandy, what are we doing next
Go ahead.
month?
Okay, so for next month's buddy read / fun activities, we are going to do a readathon for the month of December. So technically, it'll be December 1st through the 29th. Our live show will be December 30th. We already have our buddy read picked out for that, or group read. It's going to be The Christmas Blanket by Candy Steiner. It is like, this is, if you compare the two books, it's a lot smaller book
Yeah.
and not a lot of pages. So this will be a nice, fun, easy Christmas read. It'll be build your own bingo board, and there's 9 spaces on the bingo board. So you only have to basically read 3 books to get a bingo. Woohoo! And we will have prizes during our live show, and we'll have stuff on our Instagram at the end of the month that explains more. All 3 of us will have it there, the bingo boards and all that, and the different prompts that will be on there. And let's see, what else am I forgetting? Oh, and we'll have recommendation videos at the end of the month too. The 3 of us will. So you'll have lots of ideas for books to read to get those prompts. So just something fun for the month of December. And then in January, we'll be back to our regular buddy read.
Yeah.
So then it's going to be, the live show is going to be on your guys' channel.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So just so that they know it's going to be on,
Yes.
obviously on your guys' channel. So it won't be our usual like order of doing our live shows, but
Yeah.
I would
I
be
wanted to
impressed
make
if people remembered the orders, because I have to stop and think myself.
I know, me too.
Yeah, me too. But we wanted to make it fairly easy. December's a crazy month, so we wanted to have a fun readathon. We wanted to give plenty of time to do the readathon and not make it too difficult to get bingos, because it's a crazy month
Yes.
for everybody. So
Yeah, and I think
um,
like some of the tropes you could like read one book and hit a couple. Like you could read like there's Mafia, Captor, Captive. There you go. You've got like you can find a million Mafia, Captor, Captive ones.
yeah, they're not all Christmas centered, which is great.
Yeah.
No, we have
'Cause-
holiday, and then we have snowed in / stranded would be the only ones that would be considered that. And if you read The Christmas Blanket, there you have your holiday right there.
Yeah.
And I think you could probably make pretty much any book fit into at least one of those categories.
Yeah.
probably, that we have on the bingo board.
And you
Yeah,
get
they're
to-
pretty easy to pick categories, I think, prompts
Yes.
to get. Like you got age gap, you got tons of these things that we can definitely
Yes.
read.
Yeah,
and you
it's our
can't
first-
overlap, right? We're okay with, you can overlap. It can be like an age gap, and
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's fine. And then that's easier chance too to like black out your board if you want to be
Yes.
really, that's what I like to do is I try to like challenge myself to like do a black out the whole board. And I think that's really easy to do on this one with those prompts.
Oh yeah. And
So this
excited
is
for
our
one.
first readathon, so we're all very excited to do it. And then
Yeah.
we'll, we can always make adjustments if we decide to do another one in the future. But I think we just go for it and have fun reading. That's the whole point, is just to have fun reading.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
And we wanted to make it easier too for those who don't read a crazy amount of books.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Like if you only read a few books a month, you got it. Like you can get your bingo then.
Yeah. Well, and the
I'm telling
Christmas Blanket, it's really
quick.
short.
Yeah.
I
And
think I
love
want to plan on reading Alien. It'll be a good chance to get back into Ice Planet Barbarians.
Yes, it
So that'd be a
would.
really quick one too.
But
152 pages.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
That's
But
good.
literally, it's like half this.
Wow.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
little.
it's so much smaller.
So little.
Yeah.
It's a
How
baby.
how far into Ice Planets are you? Because you know they have Christmas ones.
Yeah, I never read the Christmas one either because I just went through like how it was listed in like Kindle or whatever. But I think I was on the one, I can't remember her name.
What
The
happens
last one I read where like the guy came off planet and like she has like her little dog kind of guy.
Oh, she's got that's
And-
the where she's oh my gosh, my brain just fried. Not Marley. Martok is the guy.
Yes. And then
Yeah.
it's like figure out, oh, is she gonna go with him or is he gonna stay?
Yeah, so she's originally. So you
Yes.
can go back and read the Christmas ones. They actually have audio for them.
Yeah.
Every time I wrap Christmas presents, I'm listening to Ice Planet Barbarians Christmas. It's hilarious.
Ice Planet Barbarians is like my palate cleanser for me.
Oh,
like I'll read those in between some of my dark romances. Yeah. I don't know why, but they're like feel good to me.
They're easy. They're easy to be in. I love them. Mandy's just sitting there shaking her head. But
they're feel good romances.
And they're easy to read. I get through them pretty quickly when I listen.
Yeah. The audiobooks are so like quick. So it's like it's nice. I like getting those. And they're on AnyPlay. So like I don't get to listen to them at 2.5 or whatever, but they're on AnyPlay. So I always like check them out there.
Yep. Yeah, they work for me. So yeah.
Anything else you guys want to go over?
What are we excited to start reading? Like what's on our TBR that we want to start reading?
I have Marnie Mann's new book, Mr. Hookup.
Okay.
And Silent Lies. I haven't read that one yet.
I haven't either. No, is that the
seventh one? So good.
Oh my god. I'm gonna read it. I was actually
love Andy's face right every time you talk about aliens.
Megan, I do too. It's awesome. It's why I do it.
I know, it's so funny. Like, because when I watch you guys when you made her read like aliens and stuff, I'm like, oh my god, like I love it. Because like me and Jessica have like very much similar tastes, and Mandy's just like, what the hell is this?
No, she sent me a text this week, like, because I was talking about them in our last weekly wrap up, and Mandy sent me a text. It was a screenshot of her face while I was talking about aliens, and it was this weird look on her face. She's like, "This is my face when you're talking about aliens." I'm like, it's either that face or I'm extremely. So yeah.
Our author friend Karen Crompton sent us a message after that alien video, and she's like, "No, Jessica, no. Doesn't matter how forked his tongue is. He's green and has scales. Just no." And I was like,
well, what about we make Mandy read this?
I haven't been able to get into that one. I tried.
This is my favorite.
I know. I need my aliens to be somewhat humanoid. I don't know if I can do that.
He's so beautiful. I love him so much. He's
how
like
are those
my green boyfriend.
Forked tongue double appendage things
because he
realistic?
Well, this guy actually is a spider.
Man, he had arms like he was a man. He had a man's face. Just had double peens,
Like, it's funny when I was watching the Novellathon thing, they were talking about like the different monster like novellas, and like it's kind of crazy. Like I saw one going around where it was like a turkey. And I was like, what? Like,
no.
And then there was like a praying mantis one or something.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
looking at Jen and Mandy's faces while we're talking about this.
Jen, it looked like you were holding up a normal book a minute ago. What did you want to talk about?
I'm just lost. I have no idea what's going
on. Or the door. Have you seen that thing about like the door where she has the door's in love with her?
I saw that. I'm not gonna read that. Why you?
I'm not reading it, but I was going the rounds, and I'm like, what the hell? Does the door come to life? Like, how does she?
Told you guys, there's some weird stuff out there.
Seriously, Jen, I felt like you were gonna talk about something.
Okay, yeah, Jen, tell us something normal that you like,
please.
I don't. Silent Lies. I was gonna pick that up next, but I decided to use it for my Mafia. Bingo.
Is Silent Lies the Neva Altaj one, like the new one?
Yeah, it's the next one. It's
okay.
Lena, who's
I still need to catch up in that series. So
I need to do the burned one first, and then Silent Lies.
Yeah.
So I just got the last.
I think I have to do the Bodyguard one but he's really like wants revenge. I think that's
the one I gotta do. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's good.
They're all
Burn
just so
Secrets.
good. They're all good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Such a good
So-
series. I can't wait for more. I'm disappointed I'm all caught up and now having to wait.
Till like March, I was looking.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought I saw it on her Instagram. It was like February or March, but yeah.
How do you get arcs for her stuff? Like, I wonder if
She's
she
kind of
puts.
like I was looking because I to see how she does it. She opens it up like once or twice a year. She's a newer
Oh.
author. These are her only
Yeah,
books. So,
I know
uh,
they're so good. Like, I'm like, I want, I want in on this. So S Mastery, I think I've seen that. Like him, like I don't know, is that a male or a female author? I don't know.
Female. She's female.
Okay, because I saw their books like everywhere, and I'm like, I think I need to get in on this.
I have one of hers on my TV.
I have hers.
Yeah, I think I was putting one.
Sitting right here.
Yeah.
So I just read the fourth one in the hockey series, was the last one that's out, and the girl has amnesia, and she was his college professor, and he is an NHL player. There's a 10-year age gap, but she has no clue who anybody is. She doesn't remember anything. That was really good.
I think the third one is like a stepbrother thing, because that's when I was like looking for stepbrother romances. Okay, but then I'm like, oh, I got to read the first one because that's how I am. Like, so I got to read that.
The third one is really good, where the girl, the female main character, was dating the guy's brother, and the brother breaks up with her in a really heinous way. And the younger brother's always been in love with her. And so he's like, now you're mine. I love those guys because they're that thing. Like, they see a girl that they want and they just, you're mine.
Take her. You're mine.
S Mastery has other books too. Not a lot, but a few other ones. I think I tried one other one. It was a mafia and I just couldn't quite get into it. But I think those were one of her first books. So, but I love her hockey gods books. So
yeah, another hockey series, you know.
What was that, Mandy?
C.R. Jane writes that way too. The fucking wrong guy.
And that's why I'm excited to read that one book that I got from her. And it's one of her first ones. What is that one? Do you remember what it was called? You know what I'm talking about, where she's the daughter of a serial killer.
Oh, yes.
I got it when we were down there in Vegas, so I still have it.
The Demon's Daughter?
No, I mean, like, that was a part of that's like the there's like a tagline in it, but that's not what it's called. And it's over on my other bookshelf that's over there, so I can't go get it. But
I'll look it up right now.
It's a trilogy.
I thought it had something with demon in it.
I think that it was in the description because I was like, oh, I don't know that I want to read a demon romance right now. And then I saw that it was where she was like the daughter to, they were referring to the dad as the demon because he was a serial killer. And then I was like, oh, okay.
And this is a series?
Yeah, it's a trilogy. And I think it's reverse harem. It might be reverse harem. I think it's reverse harem. I think there's 3 guys. So, but yeah.
Not huge.
Yeah, I have the Pucking Wrong Number. I think that's the one that you guys had talked about in a previous video before. And so I have that like on my TBR. It's like on my Kindle right now. I'm just trying to figure out if I'm going to read that next or since I'm reading a mafia, give myself something like
the Rich Demons of Darkwood trilogy.
Okay,
the first book is called Make Me Lie, but the series is Rich Demons of Darkwood.
That's where the demon came in.
Yes.
She had another book there that was, she had a special edition cover of, and people were buying it like crazy. And it wasn't one of these. Mandy, can you see her other books?
I think it was Ruining Dahlia, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ruining Dahlia. And I'm not sure what that is. I want to look and see because like everybody was getting that. You've heard of it?
I feel like that sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
It might have been when I was looking up certain tropes to read.
Maybe.
Yeah, but that sounds really familiar.
Yeah. So
it's
and
Mafia.
I like it's Mafia.
That's probably why, yeah.
Then there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But it was also a special edition
cover.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's a rainbow in my backyard and I can literally see the end of it on my property, which you're not supposed to be able to see the end of a rainbow, but I can see it. So I'm debating, should I leave the live show to go see if there's a pot of gold back there in my woods?
Yeah.
Get the boys, tell them to go get a shovel and get out there.
Totally.
Quick!
Yeah.
I really don't want to go to work tomorrow.
Find that gold.
Yeah.
I know. I'm actually like on my vacation. So I took like, I'm not even really doing anything, but I was like, I needed to take stuff before the end of the year. And so I'm like taking a few weeks off and it's amazing. I'm so happy. The last week of work dragged on and on. I'm like, I need to go on vacation now. The only thing we're doing is me and my mom are going to see Depeche Mode in concert. And so we're going to stay at like the casino hotel.
fun.
Yeah, I love Depeche Mode. So I can't wait. And then probably wine tasting because,
Because why not?
Yeah.
That's what, okay. You guys were so amazing. You actually tagged me on how Sophie Lark is coming to that Meet Cute shop. That's the time she's coming is when I'm going to be out of town.
No.
And I was like, no, this is like the only chance. So I was trying to get my mom to like change like part of the dates and stuff, but we couldn't. And I'm like, so it would have been perfect. And I still need to go to that bookshop because I live in San Diego and I've never been.
Yes.
So it looks so cute.
You have to go so you can take pictures for us and like send us video.
I know, because like we don't really have a lot of good like used bookstores or other bookstores in San Diego. Like we don't have anything. And so that store, like I really need to go to because I've been dying to go to like little like used bookstores and things. We don't really have much. Like you see all these people post like book hauls that they get like at used like bookstore. I'm like, where? I looked online everywhere. I don't have anything but Barnes and Nobles. And we know they don't carry anything I read.
No, Barnes and Nobles.
So, or I'll like go in and I'll leave. Like I'll be like, check the price on Amazon. I'm like, oh, okay. Well,
I turn it, I walk in and go, they're all cartoon covers and it's all Colleen Hoover. I'm out of here. I'm good.
all Colleen Hoover.
They're all Colleen Hoover. I've been going down, like you guys know, I've been going down to San Francisco a lot for my daughter, and we are going again next week. I'll be there for a week. And I'm like, there has to be a good bookstore down here. This is a bigger area. I mean, on the outskirts. There's nothing. There isn't even a Barnes and Noble in that area.
That must be why they stole my Kindle.
That must be why. But just the area that I am on the outskirts, there's nothing there. And I'm like, okay, you have Stanford. The college is here. You have to have something.
Yeah, don't your college kids read? They don't read smut. Okay.
Yeah, they're too busy reading boring school stuff to
boring
time.
Books. Yeah, so
the grapes of wrath.
Exactly. We don't really have much up here either. So
yeah, it makes me sad. Like I love having a Kindle and everything, but it's like you still want to like be able to go get like older, like different editions. I know you guys aren't into historical romance, but I love some like the older like covers or the step backs. And it's like you can't get those anymore unless you go to those kind of stores, and we don't have any anywhere. And it makes me like, ugh.
Well, and Jen, her new bookshelf's just empty. It needs books. Yeah.
Dude, I was gonna say I love your new bookshelves because like I want white ones that are like longer like that. Were those 3 separate ones that you put together, or is it all like one that came together like that?
No, they're 2 smaller ones. They're the Billy ones. I've had them for years. I just didn't have them together until I moved into this room, and then I was able to put the 2 on the side. So
it's hard when you have like limited space, because I was trying to look at the sizes, but like the area that I have my wall in, it's not big enough. And so I was like, I don't know, like I can't get another one in here.
Yeah, I mean,
we have
up. It's like, you see, I have.
Oh, whoa, that's like a high ceiling.
I have all that extra room now.
I know. Now, see, like we have our ceilings they're lower here in the house, and we have a lot of windows, so there's not a lot of wall space.
Yeah.
Bookshelves, and I've mentioned to my husband, like, I want the white. I want the what? He's like, we have 3 dogs. They're not going to stay white. No, because I don't even use like the bottom shelf of my bookshelf because I just don't want.
Well,
We have a husky. We have dog hair. We have a husky. I'm always vacuuming up dog hair.
And my cats are always like climbing in the bottom one, and I'm like, I don't want you. I think I had a dream that my cat was peeing on my books. And I was like, no,
don't use that bottom bookshelf.
It's like I think it was a warning to my brain, like, don't ever put anything down there.
Exactly.
I have
like if that's my nightmare.
high ceilings, and so my husband, I told him I want floor to ceiling bookshelves along this one wall with a ladder.
Oh my
that'll
God.
roll back and forth.
Yeah.
The
And so
dream
he
library.
told me he would do that for me. And so in like 5 to 10 years, when it finally gets done, I'll show you.
Yes. Well, and then you told my husband to do that, and what did my husband say?
No.
When you
No.
Yeah, no. He's like, what do you need a ladder
You're-
for?
You're
No.
not Beauty and the Beast. We want the
much.
Beauty and the Beast.
But my
library.
ceiling is really high. So if it went all the way to the top, I would
You would
definitely.
have to
Like
have-
Jen,
That's what he
Jen will
said.
need it.
I think Jeff was like, we have like 8-foot ceilings. You're not getting a ladder.
I want one, though. I keep showing him. He said that if I can pick a spot and they stay, that he'll add like some molding, like crown molding, to make it look like it's all one,
Mm-hmm.
so that you don't have to see this.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it
So
doesn't
he's
look
saying
bad at all, though.
You can't move it. So
Right.
Yeah.
Why
he
he said
likes
I
to
have
move our furniture.
that he
So
said I have
will you
to.
also be showing us that in 5 to 10 years, or is he a little bit
Well,
more with it?
He knows that he gets away with it because I'm too indecisive and it'll change.
Mm.
It's probably gonna stay. I mean, if we ever move, it'll move, but I'm not moving these again. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
so yeah, 5 to 10 years.
All right.
Love it.
Make sure to check back in 5 to 10 years for updates.
For your background.
Oh, I love it.
You know.
So yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Do we
Yeah,
want
so
to cover anything
Don't
else?
forget the Christmas blanket for next month.
Yeah.
And that's on Kindle Unlimited, right?
Yes.
Or do we have to? Okay, cool.
Nope, it's on Kindle Unlimited.
Awesome.
When are we going to post the bingo and readathon stuff?
Like the
Maybe
beginning, first of the month.
Right after Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's a good
I don't
idea.
know.
When we do our videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for that then, so you can participate and get your.
I mean, we could
Mhm.
post them now and then share them again
Yeah.
after Thanksgiving if people want to
I
see them
did-
now.
I did see they're doing another novellathon, again. I'm like, that's really fast. Cause
Yeah.
When?
I was
when
like
we're
in December, like I saw them already post stuff about it, and then they were like, we'll repost like the graphics later. But I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
oh dang it. Like another one, because we just did one for
Yeah.
October.
right.
But so you could read some novellas and maybe do both. I don't know.
Well, be on the lookout for that because that's going to be really exciting. You get to make it
Yeah.
on the board.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yay.
So we can always share those. We'll probably share them like several times
Mhm.
between now and the
Mhm.
end.
I'll have them too, and like I'll just make a highlight like in my Instagram where they can go and you
Yeah.
know we could have a highlight so they could just go take the screenshots of them whenever they need it.
Yes.
I'm ready to go. I made one for the readathon, or because I figured we would do more. So
Yeah.
Well, but gotta make sure I beat that Goodreads goal.
yeah, right.
I know.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll end it here. It's almost an hour. We didn't go full hour this time for once. But thanks for watching. Thank you for, supporting us, and check back in for all our graphics and everything. And we're going to have a really fun readathon in December. And then we will all be posting. I'm not sure which date. Should be like the end of the month, our TBRs. I'm going to do a TBR, but it's like rec video for for the readathon. So per prompts or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.